the inside at one tackle position in particular. They rotate them in. Remember Stephen Richardson a few years ago, the Stove, and Casey Sales, and last year Ricky Walker. All gone, so a change in the inside of that Bomber D. Celestin Haba trying to put some pressure on Fajardo, who gets rid of it, and wide open is Tyler Sneed. A big first down to start this second half for Sneed and the Alouettes.
This is coming back, Ron. I think it's going to come back for a holding call on the edge.
Holding Montreal, number 65. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
The new right tackle, Josh Donovan, is flagged for the hold, negating a big play for the Owls.
And it was Haba. You mentioned him coming off the edge, and watch Donovan getting his right hand underneath the chin and just pulling Haba to the ground. He looked right at the ref as he saw the flag fly and threw his hands in the air. Guilty as charged.
Negated a 35-yard gain, instead pushed 10 yards back. Second and 23, Fajardo flushed out of the pocket. Being chased, and just throws it out of bounds.
Celestin Haba's causing some problems, and he's got the punt team out there for the Alouettes. It's back-to-back plays where 45 stepped up and made a difference. He draws the holding call on first down, puts Cody Fajardo in second and a bunch. Now he demands a chip from the back in Walter Fletcher. So that slows Fletcher from getting out into the patterns and then runs Cody Fajardo out of bounds. He has to throw it away.
Kyrie Wilson in there. So Fajardo on the sidelines now with Joseph Zima standing at his 10 for Myron Mitchell, the new returner, and a nice punt by Zima. He takes it around the 42. Mitchell. Good special teams coverage there by the Alouettes with LeBlanc in on the tackle. Let's go back to John.
Yeah, Rod, the Bombers have sustained a blow to their offense. Kenny Lawler sustained an upper body injury in the first half. He will not return tonight.
That's a big one.
One of their top receivers who played only 2/3 of the season last year and still had close to 1,000 yards receiving.
That crack tape crew has got the injury. That was late in the first half. Favoring that right hand.
John said he is done for the day. That is caught, no, in and out of the hands of Michael Chris Ike, another one of their top draft picks taken in the second round. Getting the start at fullback and his first target there, but does not hang on.
Interesting player when you look at Chris Ike, because our draft expert Dwayne Ford said in the draft show that he's like an action figure. That was an interesting way to describe this guy. He is built. Drop that one and get another chance as this game goes on.
Tested very well at the combine. They set up a screen. Dembski has it. Midfield and more. Nick Dembski loses the football, and the Alouettes have it. The Bombers appear to have turned it over again. Yes, indeed. Montreal football after a nice catch and run for Nick Dembski in frustration as he'll be heading off. Well, they're still fighting over the ball. Looked like Alouette possession, and they had signaled that it's gone to Montreal, but now they're still trying to sort it out. Najee Murray in the mix there as well. Gets it down to about the 12, just inside. Still not enough for a first down, and it would appear the field goal unit. And David Cote will be coming on to see if they can put 3 more on the board.
Almost a spy-looking defense for Winnipeg. They have Haba stay off the line of scrimmage, rush 3, and be patient with Cody Fajardo on that second down play.
Bombers were 8-1 at home last season. They rarely lose in this stadium. Still lots of time here. Montreal trying to make it 17-5, and with Cote, pumps it through, and they do. So the lead up to 12 points. Opening night 2024 Thursday Night Football presented by New York. Once again, Glenn, in the last seconds, and Winnipeg is denied again.
Well, yeah, and, I start to think maybe a bit of a theory as to the slow start here in this game for the Bombers tonight. Because losing in the final seconds of back-to-back Grey Cups, that doesn't sit well. In fact, when we talked to him, we asked Zach, we talked about it off the top, about, the off-season and dealing with that kind of a loss in the championship game, and he just, in a few words, said, yeah, not good. And maybe they're in their own heads a little bit. Strevler, by the way, was playing a different position on that last run.
Collaros is in at quarterback. Strevler is on the field, so a different wrinkle here. And the handoff gets messed up and nearly fumbled. So that's lost yardage. Isaac Adeyemi Berglund, the former Stampeder, newcomer to Montreal, is in there as something went wrong in the exchange with Collaros and Brady Oliveira.
Well, it's that ride and decide play, and Collaros has a chance to put it in the belly of Oliveira, but he's still making a decision. He hasn't decided yet, and he wants to pull it. Looks like he's a little unsure as to whether or not to leave it for Oliveira. Oliveira's just going to wait with eyes up, and then take it if he has it, but he didn't have it.
The punt from Sheehan. Fletcher has it inside the 25, goes left, finds some room down the sidelines and spins around to stay in bounds, and knocked down ultimately by one of the great special teams players for Winnipeg, Nick Hallett, takes him down.
One thing, great features of Canadian football is the return game and the special teams, and that was a big run to get some nice field position. And to bounce back from that bit of an adventure on that attempted field goal late in the half there.
Hallett finishes it off. Fletcher, he got it started. 4 games left in the regular season. He returned a punt, a missed field goal, and then both for touchdowns, and then he had a kickoff return touchdown in the Eastern Final, changing the momentum against the Argonauts. 1st and 10, Alouette 45, and flags coming out with the snap of that ball and the offside.
Way offside there. Rambo is trying to go in waggle motion. Remember, when you're coming up as a newcomer, as a rookie receiver there in Rambo, you got to learn all the motions, and that's one of the complicated parts of a Jason Moss offense is outside of the actual execution of the plays in the playbook, there's pre-snap motion all over the place. Now, most teams do it.
That penalty is declined. 2nd down.
So, learning a difficult playbook, not unique to Montreal, but it certainly is there, and Rambo was about 8 yards offside on that.
One of the new receivers for the Alouettes, and they had a bunch of them last year, namely Tyler Snead, of course, Austin Mack. 2nd and 8, 47. Fajardo completes it to Keon Julian Grant, keeps his feet, and they blow the whistle. If they say he stayed in bounds, that'd be enough for a 1st down for the Alouettes. It is indeed, as the Sticks are on the move.
Julian Grant, nice crossing route. Now, Fajardo, without looking at Grant, waits till he crosses through the line of scrimmage, through the linebacking core to get outside. Just stepped on the white stripe. Right there.
Which was just enough for a 1st down. Product of St. Effects, Keon Julian Grant. His 2nd catch of the night. 1st and 10. That is caught too. Another completion. The fullback, David Dallaire, out of Laval in his 2nd year. And that pickup on 2nd down, or on 1st down, sets him up with about 3 or 4 to go.
Wonder, too, how much the Bombers miss Adam Big Hill. And not just his skill set in that middle linebacker spot, but also his leadership.
He went on the 6th game a couple of weeks ago, and they're hoping he can be back earlier. But you're missing someone like Adam Big Hill. That hurts too. With time, Fajardo. Willie Jefferson couldn't get to him. More heat coming. He does get it away, and coming in there is Tyrell Ford, who nearly had a pick intended for Tyson Philpott.
Well, you got to admire these young corners that are battling, and you got to see that. I mean, they're going to give up some plays. They're new. They're going to back off a little bit. They're probably not going to take any, not calling them chances, but where you have watched enough video that you can take an educated guess and jump a play. They're not going to do that in their 1st game in the CFL, but they're battling back.
Ford, whose twin brother Trey, of course, quarterback in Edmonton. And the Elks getting set to start off at home on Saturday against the Riders. Zima way off to the right. Gets a nice roll, but a little too nice as it heads into the end zone as Mitchell just watches it. He wanted to have a little spin to keep it down inside the 5. Instead, a point on the board for Winnipeg. French Open Women's Final Saturday on TSN. So another point on the board for the Alouettes on the single and the punt by Joseph Zemas, and the Bombers take over from their 40, and it's Brady Oliveira on the carry on first down.
Patience on that last run. He's getting back limping a little bit back in that huddle. Talked to him about his off-season training, and I said, how long did you rest up after a long season? He said, week and a half.
And that's a long time for him.
And then back in the gym.
Quickly to Dembski on the sweep. I think Winnipeg used this play so well before, but that time they end up shy of the first down. Just a couple of yards for Dembski.
Boy, that's amazing reaction and speed from a defensive end in Sean Lemon, the veteran, to read this and take an inside pass rush move and then redirect and catch Matt Dembski.
Again, if you're wondering about Lemon, who was suspended and had retired, he's appealing a gambling suspension. And until that appeal is heard, he is allowed to keep playing. So he had a sack earlier and then a big defensive play there tonight for the Owls. On the 3rd down and 2, they are punting. Winnipeg is. Jamison Sheehan standing just inside the 35. Sails a high punt for James Letcher. Cody.
Primarily his family, but now that he is a Grey Cup champion, Fajardo says that this year he's focusing on validating his place in the game, that he wants to be consistent, wants to go for another championship because he feels like that'll be part of his legacy, that he's going to be considered a Grey Cup champion forever, and that's something that he felt that people didn't believe could happen for him, but he proved the doubters wrong, Rod.
And John, we just saw the combination of Fajardo to Philpott again. They connected earlier for a touchdown, and of course, can never take that one away back in November with just 13 seconds on the clock.
Well, that drive was so good, so dramatic. Fajardo with a 13-yard run on 2nd and 18, and then with time running out to find Philpott. Unreal.
Off to the left. That is caught by Philpott again.
So he runs for 13 in the final drive, and you remember it well. Called it well, and then does this on 3rd and 5. Like, come on. Come on.
That was just crazy.
Goes deep to Speaker on 3rd and 5. Converts it, says it was his best throw of the night.
It was 31 yards, and we all thought they're just going to try to get close to see if they could get a field goal to tie it.
Yeah.
Instead, they went for it. And that was it. That was ball game. Then, of course, the next play was the touchdown. This time, they're 2 and out. It's Mitchell with it. New returner for Winnipeg. And the rookie, Jeffrey Cantara-Coo, drafted in the first round by Montreal on special teams, coming out of Memphis, and highly regarded. He was taken 9th overall.
During the return, illegal block. Winnipeg number 25, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So, boy, one of the great special teamers of all time, the all-time leader in special teams tackles, Mike Miller, and now a coach and special teams coordinator for Winnipeg.
Yeah, here's what I want to teach you guys. I'm going to put up some Mike Miller highlight reels. Go ahead and watch me cover. First guy down every time, it felt like.
What a playing career he had. From the 27, first down. It's caught. Dalton Schoen with it.
I think it should be said that Noel Thorpe's defense tonight is one of the main reasons that Zach Collaros, a former MOP, Brady Oliveira, the leading rusher last year, and this Bomber offense has not looked normal, has not looked like a Bomber offense of the last 4 years. Part of that is the way this defense plays. They had 48 takeaways in the regular season. That was second in the league. Had 4 sacks, an interception, and a fumble recovery in the Grey Cup game.
And it continues. An opening night, under 150 yards of net offense. Chris Strebler running with it there. But I don't know if he got that first down. It'd be very close, but no, it's been a confident defense and one that just progressively under Noel Thorpe got better and better. And that Eastern final, when they forced 9 turnovers of the Argos, a team that far and away led in terms of turnover ratio all season, that defense really stood up. A big, big reason why they've got a Grey Cup ring in 2023. So 148 yards net for the Bombers with Strebler in on a third down and about a foot away. He keeps it, gets it, and more. Strebler still moving, taken down by Stubblefield, and he's angry. Didn't like the way Stubblefield had taken him down and is favoring his right leg.
He thought he got the business as Stubblefield was on the ground, maybe twisted his ankle or something. He's limping off a little bit and was not happy. That's just a straight tackle there. Oh, it was that he was holding on in that twist late. I think Strebler has a bit of an argument. That's a tackle now. You can let go now. He's down by contact, but he gives him another twist when he's down on the ground. No penalty flag.
Collaros back in at quarterback. He completes a big one over the middle to Drew Wolotarski. And a first down in the Alouette zone.
Well, you never know what could be the catalyst to bring the team together and get things going and grab some momentum, and maybe that shot on Strebler will be just what the Bombers need. Pretty good composure for Zach Collaros. Step up in the pocket there.
25-yard pickup. Wolotarski. And a first down for Winnipeg. Stubblefield now is the injured player. And he was the one that Strebler was so upset with for the way he tackled him and hung on after he was down. Reggie Stubblefield.
Well, yeah, and I'll say Reggie Stubblefield is probably looking at supplementary discipline after that hit on Strebler, who has been limping around the sideline and is getting attended to by the trainers.
Still quite upset, and Stubblefield now the one down in his second year at a Kansas State. Went to the same school as Dalton Schoen and had a great first season with the Alouettes, emerging as their cover linebacker, taking that spot after an injury to Najee Murray, and really embraced it. And he was part of that great performance by the Alouettes defense late in the season and into the playoffs.
But you can't do what he did.
Oh, before? Definitely not.
On Strebler. No.
Yeah.
You can't.
Strebler's, you can tell, is visibly still fired up. I mean, thankfully not limping, and grabs a ball and looks like he wants to get back in there, but quite angry.
I didn't see what happened to Stubblefield.
Cart coming out. As it's Murray in there with Kevion Ento to see if they can help out as well. As it is looking at this point like Stubblefield's day is done. Play after he was cast the villain by Strebler. So putting some weight on his feet now and getting the pat in the back from his teammates. He's helped out.
Take a look at how he got injured here. Reggie Stubblefield is coming on a blitz, and he comes inside. He gets picked up there, turns, and then goes down. So it wasn't a non-contact. Grabs the right knee. It wasn't a non-contact injury. He did get hit by that offense. So I think it was Eric Lofton.
Eric Lofton got him up high.
Eric Lofton got him as he got inside there, but it was just the way the foot planted in the turf. Good pickup by Lofton and a clean hit. It's unlucky for Stubblefield.
Who heads off late in this third quarter. 35 seconds to go. Montreal leading it by 13 points. The Bombers with the ball and on the move down to the Alouette 37. And the backup Sam linebacker, Bryce Cosby, number 30, is in there now for Stubblefield. Cosby in his first year at a Ball State. Try it with the Raiders last year. Three-man pressure, dumped off to Oliveira.
Go right at
down,
him.
Shy of the 30. They go right at him.
Go right at Cosby. Got a newcomer in there, guy in his first year. He's playing right near the line of scrimmage. Flare the back out, and Brady Oliveira, and Cosby steps up, makes the tackle.
So Oliveira gets 5, 2nd and 5 coming up in what will be the last play of the third quarter. Again, a three-man rush. Lots of time, Colaros. Pressure coming. Adeyemi Berglund nearly got him. He does get it away, but it sails out of bounds, incomplete. And a 3rd and 5 to start the fourth quarter for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
In striking range, and the task for on the road for Jason Moss's crew is to finish.
And Sergio Castillo is out to see if they can put 3 on the board and get a little bit closer right now as this fourth quarter begins. He missed a field goal try earlier that turned out to be a safety. Letcher took it out and went back in again. So 18-5. This is to make it 18-8 in a 10-point game from just inside the 40. For Castillo, he is wide left again, and that one sails right out. So the second miss for Sergio Castillo, normally quite reliable, as mentioned, over 90% last year. He had clicked on, so that's just 1 point on the board now. And an 18-6, still 12-point lead for the Alouettes.
Jamison Sheehan is the holder. We'll take a look at the hold. Looks like the hold was where it was supposed to be. I didn't see. Often, if the hold is off, the kicker will look directly at the holder immediately after the kick.
And this is from a guy who used to hold. You held for Dave Ridgway in Saskatchewan. One of the most famous field goals in Grey Cup history.
I got that look a couple of times.
Yeah.
And what do you think you're doing with that?
Cody Fajardo, 12-point lead, fourth quarter. And Tyson Philpott, and good yardage after the carry for Philpott. Now that's his 5th catch of the night.
Number 1 in the CFL last year, and when you take a look at his completion percentage and how close it was to the 09 season with his OC, Anthony Calvillo.
As Fajardo just keeps it on the 1-yard carry, and there he is, one of the greats of all time. And the Alouettes had a 13-year drought after Calvillo. The As Fajardo just keeps it on the 1-yard carry, and there he is, one of the greats of all time. And the Alouettes had a 13-year drought after Calvillo. The Alouettes had won back-to-back in 09 and 10. Didn't win again until Fajardo was quarterback last year.
Different guys, but Cody Fajardo, he took some sacks. Wanted to protect the football, but that completion percentage, outstanding. Number 1 in the league.
And Calvillo, number 1 all-time in passing yards. In CFL history, here comes Willie Jefferson. And in a hurry, dumped off to Walter Fletcher, but the Alouettes go backwards there.
Yeah, it looks like the veteran Willie Jefferson was just, it's almost like on this play said, I've had enough. He's coming from the left corner of your screen, and he's going to beat the fullback, a tailback. Watch Jefferson come around the edge here. He's going to beat a couple of them. One to the outside, another to the outside. You're not going to stop him. It just rushes the play for Cody Fajardo, and they don't have a shot to execute.
And number 5 has been a nightmare for Cody Fajardo over the years, especially going back to Fajardo's days with the Riders and that rivalry between Saskatchewan and Winnipeg. Fajardo knows him well. 3-man rush. Fajardo just decides to run it. Brandon Alexander quickly coming in, the safety, and takes him down out of bounds. Alouettes want a flag, and they get one.
Late flag. I think like Brandon Alexander made a good, clean tackle. I think the Alouettes thought there was some extra stuff, or did Alexander get the face mask of Fajardo?
Face mask. Winnipeg number 37. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. Automatic first down.
So the hand came in, just glanced the face mask, but enough for the flag on Fajardo, or on Alexander on Fajardo. Another look.
You see the reach and the helmet go forward.
Just for a moment before the arms came down, but right there.
Yeah.
Just touched it. And went down. Penalty. Big one, too. Fletcher gets it inside the Winnipeg 40.
Yeah, it was quick, but there's no sort of time limit for if you get to the mask. I mean, if you get the mask, you put it in the hands of the official. Bombers were off the field there. And that's not a penalty. I mean, that's the penalty that happens. It's just... It's not a bad decision by Alexander, is my point.
Well, the many thousand in the stands don't like it. They're still expressing their dismay. Jillian Grant on that hitch takes off and has a first down and more down inside the 30 for Montreal. So a big turnaround and momentum here off that Alexander penalty.
Well, this is a well-executed bubble screen. Not a bubble screen, but just a hitch screen to the outside. For all those offensive coordinators that want me to get the terminology bang on, it's just a hit screen, but well blocked at the point of attack.
He's down outside the 20 now. More off now to Philpott. He turns around, he gets only about a yard on that.
Well, the Bombers have lost Kenny Lawler early in this game to injury, and the Alouettes have lost Tyler Sneed. I think he will be returning. He's got down that sideline, had great concentration on this deep ball against the zone earlier in the game. And coming up after that tackle, and again, clean tackle there, but it looked like Ford just kind of fell on the back of his legs.
So just inside the 20. And quickly again over to Philpott, down to the 15, working in it a little more. So an opportunity here at 12 to make it a 15-point lead with a third down coming up, and we expect to see David Cote coming on to see if he can add another field goal here for the Alouettes.
You know, I would call that a successful drive for the Owls, though. I mean, hit screens took the Bombers out of really any big-time, blitz packages, trying to create a turnover, and could match the field goal. Attempt.
Cote, 1 for 1, 21-yard try. That's another. So 9:52 in the clock here at Prince Francis Auto Stadium, and it's now a 15-point Alouette lead. Bombers, but that offense has to get to work. Now, they're down 2 scores still, but it's a 15-point game for Zach Collaros. Faking to Dembski, dumping it off to Oliveira. He's taken down, coming in, Tyrell Richards on the tackle after a pickup of about 5-6 yards.
Real good tacklers, close quickly. Veteran secondary. This is an outstanding defense. Montreal made some nice additions too. Derek Wigan is a great addition in the interior. That D line got a rotation there. Avery Ellis also rotate in.
They spotted the ball at the 44, so actually a 2nd and 6 after a 4-yard carry on that pass to Oliveira. So here's Collaros again. He completes it. No, he doesn't. Intended for Schoen, and all over him like a blanket is Darnell Sankey. Yet to lose as a member of the Alouettes. I mean, his arrival coincided with that long winning streak, capped off with a championship.
Well, and he walked it like he talked it. I mean, he had that speech I mentioned off the top, and then Darnell Sankey in the semifinal, 8 tackles, an interception, and 2 sacks. In the final, 6 tackles and an interception. And in the Cup, 8 tackles and a sack. I mean, he walked it like he talked it.
What a great acquisition he was. And here's Letcher on the return. And gets turned around and flops down on his back at about the 33. Cody Fajardo to Tyson Philpott again.
You know, Fajardo sees that the DBs are coming down towards the line of scrimmage. That was Diedrich Nichols that I just drew coming closer to the line of scrimmage. He knows the Bombers. He and Jason Moss, Anthony Calvillo know the Bombers are desperate to make something happen defensively. They want to get after it. They want to try and sack Cody Fajardo, maybe cause a fumble. So why not play into that? Go with the flea flicker. The great call. Outstanding call.
It's like those two have connected before. Fajardo and Philpott again, and Cote the point after. And that is wide left, so no point after that time. It remains 27-6, but still a 21-point lead now for the Alouettes. Near the halfway point of the 4th quarter. Wow, Tyson Philpott just picking it up where he left off at the end of Grey Cup 110.
Well, watch Philpott sell this. You got to be a good actor here. The Oscar goes to Tyson Philpott. Watch him. Hold it there. Now, where are the eyes right here of Tyrell Ford? They're back in the backfield on this run play. Whoa, hey, wait a minute. Where's my guy? He's gone. He is gone. You know, the Bombers trying to play desperately to come back in this game. They're trying to get aggressive. You see Diedrich Nichols up in the line of scrimmage. The DBs got their eyes in the backfield trying to make something happen. And that's why this is such a great call at that time to go with that play, get the DBs peeking, and get in behind them.
Perfect call at the right time, and Fajardo celebrates it there. Another touchdown pass.
Jalen, that's for you. Show me what you got this weekend. Let's go.
Talking to his brother Jalen.
The Calgary Stampede.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow night.
I thought we were playing, bro.
The Stamps are playing Hamilton Tiger Cats, so one of the twin Philpotts off to the races in 2024. Now he has 117 yards receiving suddenly on that 2nd touchdown grab. So the hole is that much bigger for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, down 27-6. Just over 8 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter.
Philpott's getting a nose for the end zone. In the last 4 games of the regular season, he scored a major. The first game of this regular season, he scores a couple of majors.
Yeah. And that was the longest catch of his career, 76 yards.
And some nice acceleration
at
the end of that one, which is why we need a little oxygen.
Yeah.
And a little O2. Get back up.
Yeah.
Good call.
So,
good call.
So Tyson gets the oxygen. Cody, he gets on the phone, talks that one over. Nick Dembski now.
Well, I think he just went up to AC there and said, yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, that one worked.
That was a great call. Now right to the O-line.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Keep them fired up.
You know, this was a team a year ago that they had a lot to prove, and certainly at the start of the season, that's knocked down to the line of scrimmage. Another case in point, though, with what happened last year, the way it ended, how much does that affect a team's confidence, even with a lot of the same personnel coming into a new year?
Well, you know, we've talked about some of the young players for Winnipeg here tonight, and they don't have that experience. Like, even the young players in Montreal, the second-year guys, you know, I think of the, you know, corner, Kevion Ento, who's just a second-year guy, but he has Grey Cup experience. He has playoff experience. He's played in the big game, and by the way, had a big pick in the big game in the Grey Cup. Those young guys have all that experience, and that gives you confidence.
That guy Letcher has some too, for what he did late in the season for the Alouettes. Some big returns. But Tyson Philpott, in his third year out of the University of Calgary, for Tyson Philpott here in the opener, a couple of touchdowns courtesy Cody Fajardo.
Well, for a lot of Montreal fans, I'm sure they're saying, hey, we lost Austin Mack, so who picks up the slack there? Could very well be number 6. He certainly has tonight. Number 1 target for Cody Fajardo. A couple of majors, finding the end zone, good breakaway speed. And it looks to me like he's really worked on his route running in the offseason, because he looks good there. And boy, did he sell that trick play.
He sure did. He's not bad at stringing a couple of games together, too, isn't he? Of course, the other one was a little while ago. On the carry is Mulder Fletcher. But a 27-6 game right now. And not over yet. The Bombers still have time to add to their lead, but fewer than 10 points. It happened only once last season. It was here in Week 3 against the BC Lions. BC beat them 30-6, and they certainly bounced back after that. Went 14-4, but not something you see, especially here in Winnipeg, very often. Montreal in charge, up 3 touchdowns and with the football, fourth quarter. And it is back to Philpott. He had his breather, and he goes to work again. Another good amount of yardage after the catch as well for Tyson Philpott.
But I know exactly what Cody Fajardo was saying when he told us during the week that he's got just a completely different comfort level with this offense. And he has shown it throughout the game, whether it be the short game and these little hitches, or when he tried to press the ball deep on the outsides. I mean, he looks in complete command of this offense.
Minutes to go. Little deception, handing off to Fletcher, gets it up across the 30. Second down coming up.
But I'll say this, and this is not an excuse. You don't have to give an excuse in Week 1 to a team that's been to the Cup 4 straight years in a row and won 2 of them. So that's not what I'm trying to do. But missing Adam Bighill in the middle is big for this defense. I mean, his leadership is one. Pre-game, he's working on it. He's trying to get back. But his athleticism, people forget that he'll go on a blitz on one play and drop back into the middle third on another, because he's that versatile and that good. And it just opens up the defense in a big way for Winnipeg. And he, of course, wasn't in the lineup tonight.
2nd and 5 at the 32. Complete first down, you know who. Philpott again. What a night he is having. Tyson Philpott just keeps it going. And another thought about Bighill, too, as you pointed out earlier, it's not just what Bighill does himself on the field, but the leadership, the influence he has on the rest of his team.
Well, exactly. You know, when Terrell Bonds or Tyrell Ford, the young corners, come back into the huddle and, you know, their eyes are big and they're saying, wow, you know, Philpott's making some plays here. That's when a guy like Adam Bighill walks over and says, hey, play like you didn't practice. Let's go. Don't worry about that. Get ready for the next one. And maybe jump a route. Go ahead and jump a route. You hear your captain say that, you feel pretty good, and it helps.
Fajardo escapes for a moment with some heat coming in on him. But ultimately, he is down. And a second down coming up.
Fajardo does not want to be forced into an errant throw, and Willie Jefferson got in that lane. Jefferson led the league last year in knockdowns. He's got that long reach. We've talked about many, many times. And Cody Fajardo being safe with the football was a good decision.
And as said, Fajardo has a lot of experience trying to duck underneath and get away from number 5. 2nd and 10 now. The Alouette 44. Gets it to Fletcher. Gets a few more yards, but 3rd down. And Zima will be coming on to punt it away.
Chipped away at the clock, that drive. Safe throws. And, you know, with a decent punt here, got some... Putting it Zach Collaros in a bind with a long field. And that was really the goal of that drive. Get out of your own end.
And it's 11 straight completions for Fajardo. Not enough for a first night of the Canadian Football League season. We're just getting started. 3 more games to come in week 1. To look at Myron Mitchell replacing Janarian Grant as the return specialist. Grant moving on, signing with the Toronto Argonauts, who open up against BC at home on Sunday.
Timeout, Montreal. Timer, please reset the game clock to 2 minutes and 41 seconds. 2:41.
Yeah, interesting matchups with Bo Levi Mitchell going back to Calgary tomorrow night. First time, and again, that feels weird to say because it feels like a long time since he's been there.
And it was just, well, for one thing, he missed a lot of time with injury, but also it was never on the sked. Hamilton didn't go to Calgary last year.
They didn't last year. Just one game against those two teams played against each other, and that was in Hamilton.
Zima to punt. And Mitchell on the return.
And then we head to Edmonton.
Yeah.
And is that going to be a star-studded affair or what? I mean, the likes of Warren Moon, Ricky Ray, Willie Pless, Brian Kelly.
And our Matt Dunnigan's going to be there too, of
Matty,
course, right?
our Matty, you know, many others, Damon Allen. I still have nightmares of Brian Kelly.
Yeah. Boy, the legends of that franchise is past. I mean, you start rattling off those names, and we're just scratching the surface here.
Well, it's
all the greats in the Edmonton organization that once won the Grey Cup 5 years in a row.
Yeah, and you think about it, it's kind of a tough draw for Saskatchewan. Not insurmountable, obviously. And I think they're real excited about their team with Trevor Harris coming back, but you know, and is healthy. The preseason proved that. So Trevor Harris be ready to run an offense with A.J. Ouellette in the backfield.
Right.
And that's going to change things in a big way for them. So it's not insurmountable, but the Edmonton Elks are a desperate football team. I mean, anyone that's played on that team in the last couple of years, maybe the newcomers won't get it, but I mean, they got to get off to a good start. Let's be honest.
They really need to.
4 wins in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
doesn't sit well.
This is the 3rd season for Chris Jones with Edmonton. But yeah, it has been a while. In fact, their last playoff appearance, Jason Moss was their head coach in his final of 4 years when they won it in Montreal. They won a playoff game. It's caught again. You saw Johnny Augustine, the running back, and that is caught by Pokey Wilson. There's Pokey Wilson on Ontario Wilson in his debut in the CFL, and a new receiver for the Bombers. But mentioning Mosso, yeah, that was the last time Edmonton ended up losing in the Eastern Final as a crossover team to the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Collaros, 2 minutes to go. Getting chased down, it's deflected, it falls incomplete.
Of course, that Edmonton game will have the debut as a head coach of Corey Mace. Formerly with the Argos. And
A.J. Ouellette.
Yeah, A.J. Ouellette, as I mentioned. And yeah, so, you know, again, I think it's going to be a great matchup. The Edmonton Elk will have all they can handle, but they're going to play with a sense of urgency. McLeod Bethel-Thompson back in the league. I'm sure Trey Ford will still be involved in that offense in some way or another. And yeah, this should be a good battle there. And then we finish off the week with BC and Toronto.
A lot of expectations on the Lions. Be curious to see how the Argos respond. Cameron Dukes He's starting at quarterback, three-man rush. As time winds down for Collaros. Lots of time, but nowhere to go, and he just ends up heading out of bounds. So yeah, good slate. Good to see it all getting going again.
And our newcomer, our rookie on the panel, Enoch Mwamba, it'll be his night in Toronto.
Yeah.
To honor. And again, Farhan said it off the top. We're dedicating all of us the entire season to our buddy Dutchie.
Yep.
I know he's watching, and I think back to Dutchie handing out the awards.
I'll never forget that.
With his and Mwamba with the tears in his eyes and his daughter, and
I felt so good for Dutch coming back to Saskatchewan, born in Regina, raised in Porcupine Plain, and it just the way things converged. He had a chance to come home and host our Grey Cup coverage, and it's memorable for Enoch, of course. But from the point of view of our broadcast family, I'll never forget that day.
So we might have a very emotional final game of the first week of the regular season.
Yeah, caught by Schoen. Not much time left. But a point about Enoch, whose career started here in Winnipeg, drafted by the Blue Bombers in 2011, and time in Saskatchewan. Of course, he had time with Montreal, played for both of these teams, and wrapping it up. Wasn't able to play last year, but wrapping it up in style. And that Grey Cup victory for the Argos over these Bombers at Mosaic in Regina. Augustine again, product of 12, the veteran taking it down near the 10.
And I'll tell you what, the West Coast is excited about their football team.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Vernon Adams, and I know they've lost a couple of weapons, but they feel real good about their squad coming out. And the Grey Cup, from what I understand, is already sold. And we're in game 1, and it's already sold over 40K.
Dalton Schoen takes it down near the goal line. Kavion Ento and Marc-Antoine Dequoy keeping him out of the zone. The Winnipeg getting close, and the Bombers yet to score a touchdown in this game.
Yeah, they just want to get something to feel good about going into week 2. Get a score, get a major. Obviously Montreal playing a little differently with the lead and 3 minutes to go. A little more room out there.
And Augustine takes it in for the first Winnipeg touchdown of this first game of the year. Not nearly enough, but it's something for Bomber fans to cheer about in a difficult night.
Yeah, they're going to figure it out. Veteran squad.
Well, as said, I remember being here in week 3 when BC just dominated this Bomber team, won it 30-6, and Winnipeg turned it around. They ended up winning the division again at 14-4. And what a tough night for their kicker, Sergio Castillo.
Yeah.
Normally very reliable, one of the most accurate kickers in the league. He's missed a couple of field goals left, and he misses that point after right. That kind of night is some boos start to rain down here.
Well, he hit on 90% last year.
Yeah, a little over 90.
Long of 53. So again, a lot of what we're seeing uncharacteristic of this Bomber team, obviously, but when it comes to the offense not being on track, I mean, that's something that looks like just a technique thing for Castillo, and I'm sure he'll watch himself on video and get that figured out. But when you talk about the slow start and the offense being off track, a lot has to go to that Montreal defense.
Yep.
They